Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play Eye of the Beholder. In the last episode, our would-be adventurers proceeded down into what we think is a dwarven burial vault of some sort, and found this area flooded with spiders. Giant, poisonous spiders. And Kokorhekis and, Rokvas and Alexander had been bitten by them at some point and poisoned. Thankfully, in part due to the slow poisons and lucky find of some cure poison potions, they were able to recover from their poison status, and we were able to explore and clear out this level of the dungeon. We've picked up another member of our party now, Taghor, a dwarf who we found badly wounded just within the northern ladder or staircase that had descended down into this area. We patched up his wounds, and now he is fighting for us, or with us. We'll be very glad to have him here, and he started with a javelin and several daggers, or is that right? At least a javelin. And it gives us another person who can carry more stuff with us, which is great, since we're carrying way too much garbage with us anyway at this moment. In any case, things are looking pretty good for us, although we are just about out of food. Several people don't have any rations left. Only Alexander and Rokvas are carrying some food. No one else has any. So we're going to have to hope we find some up ahead, or it's going to be tightening our belts for the foreseeable future. That's right, not the foreseeable future, because Alexander's getting closer to level 5, as is Rokvas. And once they hit level 5, as a cleric, they will be able to take a create food spell, and then all of our food problems will be solved at that point. What else has happened? We didn't pick up too much magical equipment in the last episode. We found a cool-looking dwarven shield, but it's not magical. We did get a magical axe called Drow Cleaver. I think you pronounced them Drow, so I'm going to say Drow. And if someone knows the official way of how to pronounce the Dark Elves in the second edition Dungeons & Dragons, or Dungeons & Dragons in general, please tell me, because I've always called them Drow, not Dro, so let me know. It's also a magical weapon, but we don't know what it does, other than it sounds like it probably does more damage to any Drow that we discover. And we just discovered that these maces are not magical. Okay, so now I'm going to reload, because I don't want to waste some of our hunger meter talking about the previous episode. And we can just drop these over there somewhere, because we're not going to need them. And it occurs to me that since Scavi and Alexander are the frontline fighters, we could make Taghor a frontline fighter. He is a level 5 fighter, and move Alexander to the back if we so desire. Or we can just leave Taghor back here. So since Alexander... Actually, what's your dexterity, Taghor? 15. So, arguably, Taghor should be on this rank, and Alexander should be on the rank behind. Taghor has, well, he's level 5 fighter, but I know Alexander's going to have more hit points. So you know what, Alexander, we will leave you up front. But we will give the chainmail to Scavi and the leather armor to him, because he is less likely to be struck at this rank. With that said, I think we've already rested to recover some spells. We did. So now, we'll cast our invisibility. We'll go over here to get the map of level 5. And we will proceed downstairs. I don't like that I just briefly heard a spider. And we can heal more spiders around here. Dwarvish Rune of Safe Passage. Let me look on the map and see where we're currently located. Hopefully spiders doesn't just walk down and kill us. Okay. So I have marked here... Nope, I'm looking at those. Sorry, everyone. I know it doesn't help that you guys don't see a camera and don't see what I'm looking at the moment. I'm trying to see where the staircase dropped us. Okay, I see. Okay, so I think this is an invisible wall. Yep. And we'll be able to... Well, invisible wall? An illusionary wall. But let's first explore this area and to the south. The map shows, according to what Rokvas is looking at here and translating for us, a series of tunnels. No, it's a dead end right up ahead. Is that right? No. Oh my god, I'm so confused as where I'm starting. Where am I starting? Okay, it is a small, winding group of passages here with a loop in it. But we don't have any markings of treasure, just a layout of this location. So we'll want to explore it. Everyone, I also kind of apologize. I've been watching some of my videos, and I've noticed that, and I don't know a way to make it more, what's what I'm looking for, understandable. But when I begin moving very quickly in the game, it can very quickly become confusing for you guys to try to figure out where exactly I'm going and what direction I'm facing in. A clerical scroll of prayer. Rokvas, you'll hold on to that. So I apologize for that. When combat's happening, it will be easier to tell like what direction I'm facing and how I'm moving. But given that there's no smooth movement between spaces in this game, unlike, say, Legend of Grimrock, it can be confusing if I begin moving very quickly like this. Like, it can be really hard to figure out which direction I'm turning in and which direction I'm moving in. So I apologize for that. I don't know another way to make it any easier. For you fine folks. We hear spiders crawling around somewhere. Another dwarven key. I guess Tagore will hold on to that. Some scale mail. Scale mail is worse than chainmail by 1. So Scavvy currently has armor class of 0. If we give him this, his armor class should be 1. And this also means it's not magical scale mail, because it would otherwise it would make me a liar. So we will give this to Roikvis. Between Rokvas and Tagore, I'm more concerned about Roikvis taking hits because he has less hit points. So a lower armor class is what we want him to have. Keep the blesses going. And that's it, everyone. Nothing else in these passages. And it looks like there's no more secrets awaiting us down here. Uh-oh, I seem to be lost. Hold on. We're facing south. Okay, nope, this gives us back up. This staircase right there. Apparently we could have fallen down a pit into this area. Before I open any doors. So right now I'm not even looking at the map, I'm looking only at the screen because I'm trying to see if we notice spiders approaching us. There's a passage down up ahead. Please reset drain holes when finished. Okay. So there was water flowing through this area at some point. Greed will be your downfall. What direction am I facing? South. And there's a door here. Oh man, that's really confusing. Did we go this way? I have an X on our map by this symbol on my map, the position of it. And I'm not sure why it's here. So on the off chance that's a pit, I'm not going to flip that hand down at the moment. Let's just keep exploring and not touch that symbol. We do have a dwarven key to open that door. Or this one. Or this one. And supposedly, according to the map, they all lead to exactly the same place. So before we go through any of those, let's keep exploring more of this area. Another illusionary wall. We hear the awful spiders, but don't see anything. Those didn't hit anything. I think the spider can chase you through the wall if it wants to. Good job, Alexander. You know, I'm going to give you back... We're going to take that off you so I can use a flame blade on you. I know there was another... Oh, I thought there was another spider. I guess maybe we killed 2 of them? Let's get back all our equipment. There's a button. And a spider. Good job, guys. Rokvis, I think we have determined that you practiced quite a bit of dagger throwing in the college that you were a part of in order to learn about proper angles, how objects, both mundane and magical, could be affected by air currents and what have you. And this explains why you're so good at throwing them. A mage scroll of dispel magic. It would make sense for Rokvis to get this spell, but I'm going to give it to Kokorhekis instead. And he'll scribe it as a 3rd level spell. The reason is because Kokorhekis is going to be using his bow more often than going to his mage book to cast damaging spells, and Rokvis will be doing the opposite. So all that time spent in the university, Rokvis is going to end up having you use your spells for more, well, combat purposes, as opposed to, say, intellectual pursuits. You're intellectually pursuing your enemies with a fireball. And we can't open this door from this side, it looks like. I don't see any buttons on the walls here to open them. And nothing there either. Okay, so let's... I guess we can go this... This is to the east. Alright, let's open up one of these doors then. We'll open up the middle one. I see that. Food rations. And we need them badly. I hate the creaking, but I also like it because it tells me that there's spiders around somewhere. Potion of poison. Pantry. Oh, I think you put food in here and you get something for it. I'll try putting a bunch of food in. Okay, or maybe not. We'll take it back then at the moment. We'll come back and leave more food here. Maybe it's potions we leave here? Okay, so let's use another flame blade. Another bless. Our last one, Alexander. Some more dead ends. Nothing here. I don't have the pantry marked on the map, or maybe I was going to say obviously, but not so obviously. I'm not seeing any hidden passages around here. I'm hearing plenty of angry spiders walking around looking for us. And no more food around here either, unfortunately. Oh, no, there is more food. Alright, maybe now if we, we'll come back for the pantry. I see the button. I saw it from back here. See that right there? My eyes were always searching in games like this for potential secrets. And hopefully I can notice them before I have to start scanning walls individually by running up and down them. There's an illusionary wall in front of us. Sounds like there's probably spiders on the other side of this wall. Good job, Scavvy. Nice job, Rookfist, throwing that as well. Before we open that door. Oh, hey, a way up. We'll take that after we open this door. And we've been here. We couldn't open it from this side. This was where we hit the button to unlock this and get that Mage Scroll of Dispel Magic. Let's go upstairs. Another potion of healing. Plenty of healing potions. We're going to be wanting for any of them anytime soon. Can we pick the lock? It does make a sound, so I'll try another 2 times. From my recollection about thieves and lockpicks, you can lockpick some of the locks on level 2 and 3 as we saw, and from then on, no lockpicks work on any of the other locks we find. Do we use a door? Do we use a key here? I think we will. Another potion of healing. Scavvy, I guess, can get that. A Mage Scroll of Flame Arrow. And a Cleric Scroll of Slow Poison. Flame Arrow is a combat spell, but I really wanted Fireball, not Flame Arrow. Flame Arrow requires a hit roll to hit the target, in which case, I guess either of you are good targets for this spell. I think it's a 3rd level spell, if I remember Flame Arrow. Was that the only thing that was up here? Yep, no secrets that I can see. Doesn't mean there's none here, but I don't see any. My map of level 4 is back all the way over there behind me. It's too far. Forget it. We're not getting that. We're running out of spells for you, Alexander. Wakefist, did we get any? No, you only have cure spells, I think you do, and slow poisons, because I knew we were fighting more spiders down here. I apologize if this is going to be mostly centered around our ranged combatants in this game. I think our melees will have more to do in the second one, but in this game, we're going to spend a lot of time trying to make sure that we never ever have to stand toe-to-toe with enemies. Ever. We do not want to do that. Absolutely spider behind this door. Hey! Quickoheckus has gained 2 levels. That means Roykvest probably gained 1, and I wasn't watching how many hit points they gained. And we haven't saved the game since we started, so we're gonna keep whatever it was that they've earned. Or we have to redo all this episode so far, and that's just not gonna, we're not gonna do that. So let's save the game really quick. And then we can memorize spells. So we've gained level 4 for Roikvis and Korkorhekis. So that's going to be Melf's Acid Arrow for you, Roikvis. And I guess a Magic Missile. And that's for Korkorhekis. It's going to be kind of weird, this, because Korkorhekis is going to be taking a lot of the miscellaneous spells as a mage, since he doesn't require them. He's going to be using a bow during combat. It's kind of the opposite in that Roikvis studied... Well, maybe he studied a bunch of principles about damaging spells. Was it Invocation and Evocation and Elemental spells? Whereas Korkorhekis grabbed whatever he could find at the stores, which is mostly... stole most of what he could find at the stores, which is miscellaneous spells instead that people are trying to pawn off because no one makes a character and wants to learn Detect Magic on their mage as a one single spell they can cast at level 1, when a cleric can cast like 3 spells at level 1, and he can cast Detect Magic if he wishes, without having to dedicate a spell slot for it. I guess we'll take another invisibility with you. Korkorhekis. We don't get access to 3rd levels yet. But we're also not going to... Oh, but we should also scribe scrolls. I'm pretty sure these are both 3rd level spells. So I think we're going to just not have you memorize them at the moment. Flame Arrow will go to Roikvis. But I'm not going to scribe them, because if we find a fireball, I will absolutely want that fireball. Hold person clear garbage, actually. I will want that whole that fireball spell to go to Roikvis, and then the Flame Arrow can go to Korkorhekis instead. That was all that was up in this area, according to the map. Well done, guys. Doing well so far. Getting a little hungry. We will have you eat some iron rations. Despite the pantry being there, I guess I'm giving up on the pantry secret. Where am I? Okay, we don't want to go this way. We want to go back up here. Because there is a secret. There's not a secret? It's here. Oh, alright, hit a button. Is even marked on the map. I guess it opened this door, and it doesn't do anything else any longer. And according to my map, this is also illusionary wall. We just ran out of our flame blade. Let's have you put this back on then, Alexander. Any 2nd level spells you can cast? Nope, we only have slow poisons, just in case we get poisoned. A stone necklace, glowing slightly. We've seen these before. Yep. And I described the portals to you guys briefly. That may be usable here. I'm not sure. It looks like that symbol is. Can I use this? And we could step through it. Oh god, if we wanted to, and we just did. So this will take us back to where we just were. So it looks like you take it and touch it to the top. And that allows you to enter this room. And it looks like all of these will bring us to different rooms. We have a stone dagger and a stone scepter. So let's look. A stone dagger could be used here. And there is no spot for a scepter. So let's go back. Oh, okay. It is used by placing it on the empty slot. A Mage Scroll of Haste. Yes, Mage Scroll of Aid. Haste would be good for Crooker has to cast on himself, as it would increase his attack rate quite a bit. And I think in this game, they changed haste so it doesn't actually age you a year when you cast on someone. What an awful decision that is. It means that humans can only have a haste spell cast on them like 5 or 6 times before they begin worrying about getting too old. I swear. Whoever designed some of the spells should be slapped in the face for some of the balance decisions that they had with it. Come on, guys. Just silly. Alright, so I've used all my dwarven keys so far. So if I want to explore more of this area, and potentially areas that are locked behind dwarven keys, dwarven locks, then I will need to explore other... We'll have to go back to the one warning area that talked about greed will be your downfall. But first, let's say hello to the dwarves. I am Almun, spokesman of this clan. Of course we have information on the location of the exits from these halls, but in our hour of need, I have no time to help you. However, if you would be willing to help us, sure, we'll hear your proposal. Our clan is descended from the dwarves who built these great halls. Here, our ancestors lived in peace until hordes of evil creatures drove them out into the realms of men and elves. On the surface, our numbers dwindled. Finally, our leader, King Terragor, gathered our people and led us underground in search of our ancestral home. Using secret knowledge passed down through the royal family, we finally discovered these stone-carved halls. The halls were vast, and we only explored a small portion before we had made camp in an enclosed area decorated with a stone portal. But while the camp slept, the stone portal flared with magical light. From the light, a horde of drow charged us. They were led by a female they called Shindia. We rose up and fought the Dark Ones, though we were exhausted by long weeks of travel. Both sides suffered many casualties, but in the end we forced them to retreat into the portal from which they came. The battle was costly. King Terragor was wounded by a poisoned dagger, and now lies in eternal sleep. Nothing our cleric can do will wake him. His only son, Prince Karagar, was captured by the invading drow. With no member of the royal family among us, we no longer have access to their secret knowledge of the exits from these halls. Now we wait while our cleric heals our surviving warriors. Once prepared, we will try to rescue our prince and avenge the fall of Terragor. Our numbers are small, but we would rather fight to our deaths than abandon our prince to the drow. Unless... If your party were to rescue the prince, Kerriger, from the drow and return him to us, he could give you information about the exits from these halls. You would have your information, and we would have our prince. So, will you help us? Well, it would be handy to know how to get out of this location, unless the adventurers want to stay down here for the rest of their lives. The maps we have, as Rokvis looks at them, he realizes that if there is a way out, it's not detailed in level 5 or level 6. Which means it's quite some distance away, potentially. Maybe there's a secret way out on this floor that the dwarves know about, or the dwarves can at least tell us more about the maps that Rokvis has gotten. I think we help him, so let's do so. Armin accepts your help with gratitude. He hands you a medallion made of stone. Take this. Shindria dropped it in the battle. It is the key to activate the portal through which she and her minions came. Our ancestors built the portals to transport them from one location to another quickly. When the portal doorway is touched with the right object, the portal is activated. We would have followed Shindia and her drow elves back through the portal, but we are not ready to confront them. The Ancient Ones also used powerful magic such as this to gain knowledge. Legend has it that there is an oracle of knowledge, and the key to its operation is the powerful black orb. By placing an orb into the oracle, its power is released. Our cleric can heal your wounds. Be careful not to tax him too heavily. He has been healing the wounds of our warriors and trying to revive the king from his poisoned sleep. Armin stops you. One other thing. A young dwarven warrior would like to join you in your quest to find the prince. Will you allow him to join you? So we can get another party member right here if we say yes to this. But I'm actually going to say no, because we've got some bodies that Alexander's carrying around at the moment, and I would like to resurrect one of those guys instead. So, no thank you. Dorm reluctantly remains with his people. Okay. So, this area we can use as a place to store supplies that we're not going to need to carry with us. And we can go back here and rest safely. So we also apparently get a bunch of rations. So let's start by dishing these out. Everyone should have at least 2 rations on them. Oh. Well. We don't... Well, we do have enough for 2 rations on everyone, I think. Okay, so... we probably don't need all of these healing potions on us. So I'm going to leave a few of them behind. Just to clear up some inventory space. Actually, Tim, that doesn't make any sense. You have plenty of space. The things you don't probably need are things like a normal shield. Just leave that behind. And I guess now that we have some food, we can afford to rest a little bit more before we proceed onward. So let's camp. I don't think we didn't earn any cleric spells, right? No, we did not. Okay. And I've already memorized. I already have queued the spells we want to memorize. So let's rest the party. I'm still not scribing any of the other mage spells we picked up. Those are all 3rd level mage spells, so we don't have to decide who's going to get them quite yet. But I am going to hold on to them. I guess we probably won't need that key. Cast a bless, cast a flame blade, and off we go. Actually, this is kind of dumb, Tim. We should be using Drow Cleaver with Scavvy at the moment, because it's a magic weapon, and our longsword is not. Even if it is better suited for dwarves. Okay, so let's double back. Oh, actually, let's try the pantry that we have all these rations. If I put normal rations in this, do we get something special? We might not. If this doesn't work, we'll try putting a bunch of potions in here. Okay, what do we get? Oh, look at that! It converted our normal rations to iron rations. Hey, nice. I thought it did so. Could we do that again? Or was it a one-time thing only? Probably one-time thing only. We don't have any other iron normal rations. Okay. The good news about not... Oh, I was just mentioning we can use this as a place to... Good. I wish you luck in your travels. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Let's put some more stuff on the ground. So we're going to leave the bones we're picking up here as well. A bit morbid, but let's do it. prayer. Put the food up here. Can leave the robes behind. Okay, and let's get out of here. Save the game again. Nice to find a friendly face down here. Lots of them, actually. We could actually go and talk with the cleric. Sure. We don't need to be healed at the moment, though. You can also fight the dwarves, if I recall correctly, if you so wish, but I don't see why we would do that. A weary dwarven cleric greets you. Yes. How can I help you? No, we are fine. I think, can we actually bring him bones? So I'm not going to probably keep this guy, but let's see if he can resurrect them. He can. Resurrect dead. Todd Uphill is this one's name. Todd looks about wearily. I'm not quite sure how it is I'm down here. You say I was dead? The last thing I remember was falling down into one of the sewage drains. Hey, it's not funny. I'm a serious adventurer. I have been charged to complete many important quests. Perhaps you could find a use for a skilled rogue in your party? Sure, let's keep him. Todd Uphill joins the party. Here he is. Chaotic neutral, so I instinctively don't really trust him, however. And he might be lying to us. But he is, look at his stats, 19 dexterity, 18 constitution. Yep. Can definitely tell it's someone decided to metagame with this guy. So we can also give him a sling. And then we can give him a bunch of sling stones. We'll try him out for a while. It does mean we have one more mouth to feed. Which means that we're going to need to give him some food. Is he hungry? He is not hungry at all at the moment. All right, let's push on. You can only, by the way, resurrect people who have full, you have their full skeleton. I think later on we'll find like skulls or so on, and that is no good. There's a secret passage on the other side. There's a button on the other side of this wall, but we can't seem to access it from this side. Okay, greed will be your downfall. Oh! It's one of these. Every step we take will put a pit behind us. So how do I do this? Okay. Let's go to the right to start. And we're going to take this teleporter. And this must reset the pits. Okay, so that's how this works. Alright. Let's do this again then. Let's save the game first before we walk in here. So, we went that way last time. Let's go straight this time. We'll try to grab as many of these items as we find. Oh, that's interesting. The pit did not follow us there. But it did there. The teleporter is in that direction. Let's get to it. A golden key. Okay, not bad. We got a key and a sling. I suspect Todd Uphill was actually maybe a high-ranking thief who was killed on the way up from that thieves' guild. Probably ran into some leeches and he was already low on life trying to get escape from the skeletons and zombies down below. Okay, we can move here and grab this axe. Sure, let's take the long way around. If my map is to be believed, now I don't have the doors written down on the map as Rokas is staring at this, but he's pretty confident that we're not going to bump in to a dead end as long as we're careful. I guess we don't really need a flame blade spell for you, Alexander, because we're not fighting anything for a bit. This lock requires a key. Let's try picking it. What if Todd tries? Can he do it? No, we need a key. I did leave that silver key behind, but I don't think it's going to open this. That could be really handy to have that, but we'll come back for that. The boots, I think, lead to a dead end. So I better be prepared to fall down if I want those boots. Not bad. Not bad. So do we go and get the armor and the scroll? I think we should. According to the map, Rokas is pointing out to me that there is a teleporter behind a secret wall in that room that has that armor and that scroll. Now, I thought we saw a ring somewhere around here. The boots are down that way. There's the ring. Sure. We'll take it. In we go. A mage scroll of invisibility. Rokas, we know we can have you scribe that. What the heck? When did you gain an invisibility 10-foot radius spell, Rokas? Oh! Oh! No, that's what we just picked up. Okay. This is a 4th level spell. So it's going to be... I believe it is. We're going to be sometime before we can actually cast this. And that's another spell that would be better for Hekis to use because it's a not combat-oriented spell. So Flame Arrow is going to go to Rokas then. Invisibility 10-foot radius can go to... Quicker heck is so... Okay, in any case, this is not a second level spell, which is what I thought it was. We can just exit. Plate mail. Let's see. So, Tagor's armor is currently 9. This should drop him to 2. It does. Okay, that also means it's not magical. Alexander, you'll be the one to get that. Tagor can get that chainmail. Tagor can get some leather armor. And it's not a secret button. It requires a key. So you misread that like this, but I can understand. The text is ancient. It's like 22 years old, written in the 1990s. Alright, and things just got real. That was a spider. Let's, Flame Blade and Bless. Quicker Heckus. We can invisibility. It's really a waste. I shouldn't be casting invisibility if my characters are going to be throwing daggers and shooting their bows. How are we towards leveling? Some time from it. Actually, no. I think we're a little closer than I think we are. I think we're a little closer than I think we are. I think we're closer to leveling than I am anticipating. So I should probably save after every spider we kill. This is a twisted passage. A spiral. Let's take it. Roikvis has marked down that there seems to be something suspicious about 2 of these spaces. So let's keep our eye open. Secret passage. Another secret passage. That's not on our map. And the wand. Roikvis, we'll give that to you. Oh, hello. What the heck? A teleporter. And we're back here. We're back here again. I'm sorry, Spider, but I'm not gonna let you hit me. Nice, good job. I don't know what that one's doing, but it's not advancing towards us at the moment. Sorry, Spider. I know it's not fair. I'm also sorry, Todd Uphill, because stereotypically I just gave you the sling and a bunch of sling stones to use, which I know is very stereotypical to do. Hello, Pit. Good thing we didn't throw anything on the other side of you. I wouldn't know how to get you back. Stays open. Okay. Oh, I did not even see the stepping stone here when I walked up. All right, let's hope a single stone is enough to keep it depressed. It's not. Alright, well, I'm going to leave that stone there anyway. I was talking about a spot a secret behind a wall. That was not a secret at all. It was a button. But it did get rid of the wall that was in front of us earlier at that spot. And we are back by the pantry area. This is where we teleported in from. So that leads to a secreted area. Maybe... Can we throw? We can throw, but there's nothing there. Can we... No. Alright, let's just move on. So let's go back to... Let's go back, yep, this way. Nope, yeah, wait, is it this way? I want to go back to the area where we had with flipping the switch to reset. Okay, it's this way. To reset those pit traps. And did that reset... Did that reset? Oh! It may have reset the spiders. No. Okay, I was hoping it would reset this pit, but it did not do so. Oh, but you know what? We can get on the other side of that by going up this way instead. There we go. There's that pit. Guess we can give you back some stones, Todd. Uphill instead of underhill. I suppose. What's that? That was the fake name Frodo used, right? In... What was the name of the city? Town. Sorry, not city. I can't remember. This just tells me I have to watch The Lord of the Rings again. Okay, so... A teleporter maze. Let's save the game. Thankfully, Rokvis is staring at this map and is able to translate the runes in order to understand the mapping of which of these brings us to which place. This teleporter will put us back behind us in this passageway. See? That's the same one we just saw. So I have all of this marked on the map. So let's first step into this portal. And then we can pull this lever. This one brings us back to where we started from. This one puts us on the other side of the teleporter, facing the wall. Things are not always as they appear. I would love whatever scroll that is. I think that's unobtainable, though, according to my map. This one will lead us out and on the other side of these teleporters in the distance there. This one puts us back behind ourselves. This one puts us into this spot. I would love to have that scroll. That resets us back to the beginning. Okay, there is... how do I get to that? There is no way to get to that scroll. Back to the beginning with us. How do I get to that spot? Okay. So those are the two levers that we needed to throw. There's a third lever as well, I see. How do I get to that lever? Sorry, everyone. You can't see my eyes trying to put together the maze here. Okay, we go back here. We then go here. We then go here. That takes us... Oh! That was a mistake. I don't know why I did that, but I totally did. Back here. There. Okay. Let's see where this twisted passage brings us. Another spear. I guess we should give that to you, Taghor. Oh my god, we're getting so hungry again. All this time being spent trying to solve puzzles is making us very hungry. Okay, so... That did not bring you, Tim, where you thought it would. Go here, there, here. Okay, so now where do I go? That brings us back to the start. That one... This one should bring me, according to my map, on the far... Why does it look like there's no teleporter right here? Is there no teleporter here? Is this a fake teleporter? No. Ah, this is frustrating. How do I get there? Yeah, I'm back at the beginning again. Ooh, good job, Tim. Walking right into that. This teleporter brings me back here. I've flipped some switches, which has opened some doors somewhere. Oh, okay. This is leading us... There are 3 doors, and we need to throw 3 switches to open the 3 doors. According to my map, this should bring me to the other... side. It does not, Tim. So your map is incorrect. Alright, that's the correct one to take. And that should be all 3 doors opened. Which will take us downstairs, if I so wish to go that way. I wouldn't mind having that scroll, but I don't see a way we get it. So I think we'll stop here then, because that, according to my map, is almost the entirety of this level, with the exception of one passageway by the dwarves, actually, that we didn't explore. I guess we could go that way. Actually, I thought there were dwarves guarding that spot. Maybe they leave later on, but I think they're guarding that passage. It must lead to where their king is located. So I think we'll just stop here. So let's eat. Let's make sure the people who are hungry are fed. Okay, that should be good. We'll camp, but we'll rest for our spells. Oh, someone's wounded. I don't want to... Oh, we'll just say no. Darn it. No. Stop. Oh my god, please. Okay. We should have cast this first. Detect magic. What is magical? The wand is magical. This ring is magical. The sling is magical as well. Let's give you the sling, Todd. Hold on to this one. This ring, let's look. Armor class 4. Still armor class 4, so it's not a ring of protection. Armor class 3. Still armor class 3. So I guess you'll keep it at the moment. Does anyone else have anything magical? Nope. Okay, so we can try to figure out what this wand does really quick then. Let's see. Cone of Cold. A very nice and powerful AoE attack, as you just saw. Affects everything in front of it. Alright, so let's stop here. Thank you guys for watching. And now I guess I'll read comments I got, if I get any, on the last part. So I'll be right back, everyone. Hey, everyone. Alright. As with the other videos before this one, we're now in the Hello There chat portion of the video, but without live chat. We're going to discuss some of the discussions in the prior comment sections, and I'll see if I can regale you with some Dungeons & Dragons related things here too. Also, as you can see, we've got a different game going on in the background. This is the final time I'll mention it, but I'm doing this sort of thing because I think it's better to have something more involved happening than sitting in one place and looking left and right. So this gives me an excuse to try out a few of the other games that might be suited for the party-based first-person dungeon crawl theme that I'm going with. And I would like to have the other folks who didn't make the cut into the Eye of the Beholder into another game, potentially like this one. Assuming, of course, that we like it and it fits the bill. On that note, this game here is Operancina, and it's not going to fit that bill, unfortunately. It has a story, it has a party members, and they banter and talk together. It has a bit of lore, quite a bit of it actually, and a great deal of flavor for the world, and it's well done from what I've seen so far, some 3 hours into the game. And the only issue, though, is that the character creation, man, it lets you just make one character. Tilte Core up there, he's the guy I made. Joska here, he was an NPC who joined with him once I got into the game proper. And I get the impression that we're not going to be making many other characters going forward in this game. So, since I don't want a game to involve just a single viewer as being the only character I get to create in it, we'll have to skip this game itself. Also, I'm discovering that most of the games I'm trying have the Star Crawlers type of turn-based combat and not real-time combat. This is great, and also bad, for reasons we'll get into very soon. Right, so let's get to some of the discussions. So up first, or maybe the fourth point by now in this video that I am making, is the music. I asked in the last vid if you folks would want music played so the game is a little less quiet when Tim's not doing any talking or can't think of anything to talk about. But I got the impression from you folks that it's not needed. If I wanted to do it, you trust in my ability to choose music that fits with the theme. But generally, you're leaving it up to me to decide. So if that's the case, then I will just skip adding music. I did not have my heart set on it, first off, so don't feel bad about saying, oh, Tim, I don't know if music will be appropriate. I myself wasn't sure, and it's good to have feedback from you guys about that. It was something I thought about doing initially when recording the game, but it does make it tougher to record. It runs the risk of potential copyright infringement, and I have to get the audios right for the different tracks, which is something I juggle when I do this for Aeodor Genesis. So we'll just skip it. And thank you, by the way, for the feedback on that. Next, I have an outline today, and actually some stuff written down for this portion of the video. You guys won't believe how difficult it is for me to stay on target. If you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you realize how meandering I can be sometimes in certain topics. This is my, and I kid you not, 30th time trying to record this segment of the video, and this will be the third attempt I am making at a 20+ minute total segment of this. I had to throw away 2 other 30-minute videos of this sort because I was trying to wing it or fire from the hip everything I was going to talk about, and I just can't. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I need to write stuff down because I'm getting old. But I want to talk about some important stuff before we get into the D&D things. And on that note, I would love to more naturally talk to you guys about things like my old campaigns, some of the ideas I've had or tried, my game history of sorts. But man, when I'm actually playing Eye of the Beholder live with you guys, it is so difficult to think as I'm playing the game. Any game that I'm playing, this is especially true for if I have to focus on the game while I'm playing. This generally means not turn-based games. It's really tough to talk, to think while playing a game at the same time. We'll try to concentrate on things that are happening live on screen. In the past, when it comes to stuff like this, or when it comes to stuff like this, is that the proper way to describe it?
You could use a resurrection spell now.
Right? Hope you guys like one-liners. A heads up really quick that in Opera Encina, this is not on my outline here, that I have disabled the dialogue, but there is voice acting in this game. It's well done, actually. I really liked it. But it would be too distracting to hear someone talk in the background while I'm talking. Apparently, though, the one-liners in combat when we kill creatures is not considered dialogue for some reason. And so we will always have that. Anyway, what I've done for some of the games I've played in the past, if it's a game that I'm playing that is like real-time in any sort of fashion, like an FPS or a real-time strategy game or like Legend of Grimrock, although I didn't do it for Legend of Grimrock, but I did do it for StarCraft 2 and Lobotomy Corporation, where I have to actually focus on the game itself, I begin to speak incoherently. And so to fix that issue, I would record me speaking on a different track. Like I would record the game, mute myself during the gameplay, and then watch the game with you guys, which is what I'm doing right here, and then speak to you guys as the game is being played, as if I'm watching it with you guys and I can talk about the things that were going through my head at the time. And it also lets me focus more on some other aspects of discussion and dialogue with you folks. Like right now, I can look at my notes that I've written up to talk to you guys about, rather than me trying to think of it on the fly, as it were. And it's a lot more helpful, I think, for me to do this sort of thing. So at the risk of talking too long about this sort of stuff, I want to point out that in the gameplay portion of this video, when we were running around more of the Dwarven halls, I didn't talk about any of my gaming history. Like, no Second Edition Dungeons & Dragons talk. Nor did I even, I think, talk about or begin to dwell on the type of dungeon we were in. Like, why does this level look the way it does? Or stuff like that, which I was trying to do for the previous levels, because I like thinking about that sort of thing as I'm playing. But almost all of my focus was spent in the combat and trying to navigate the map and looking down at the map and trying to look at my notes and what I wrote here when trying to navigate the teleportation maze, for example. I'm super focused on those things, and I think that's detracting a little bit from the whole Tim experience you would otherwise normally get in a game like this. What doesn't help is that the hunger meters are ticking, and until I can get my cleric to level 5, we're on a time limit, and we could starve to death with our characters, and I don't want that to happen. So, it's so difficult to collect my thoughts when I'm on a time limit and when I have to pay attention to what's going on on the screen at the time. I'm an incoherent mess, I feel like otherwise. And I really prefer chatting with you guys more naturally instead of having a dedicated segment to the comments section. Because, oh man, I want to talk to you guys and directly talk to you. Like, if you leave me a comment, I want to directly talk about some of that comment if I find it interesting to talk about that sort of stuff. Similar to what I was doing in, say, the Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines Let's Play. In that game, though, there were whole segments of that game where we were walking back and forth between spaces, or places, not space, well, places are spaces. But because I wasn't on a time limit, I could do so. We can't do that at the moment of the beholder, man. It's so frustrating. I think Old Man Tim needs some naps during his game, which is to say the ability to pause. And right now, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but I've printed some paper in front of me, and I've got an outline here and whole paragraphs to read directly from this paper because of how I failed to collect my thoughts appropriately. Otherwise, I sound like a moron. I'm very, what I call, absent-minded. I forget what I'm talking about or the point I was trying to make. And I'm also what I call scatterbrained, because I leap from point to point without anything linking those points together as I try to desperately grasp something, a tangent that I had been on earlier, because I realize I'm talking about something completely different than what I started talking about earlier. So, and the point is that without these notes and my ability to look down at them, I would spend 4 hours trying to record a segment of a video of this sort, rather than just about one, typing up everything I want to talk about, having an outline present so it keep me on track, and then glancing down at this to read some of the statements I've made to myself to make it sound intelligent as I'm speaking to you guys. And I want to stress, before I go any further, that all of this work I do is totally worth it. I really, really like interacting with you guys, and I want to sound intelligent as I do so. I want to draw you into the conversation we're having and into the games we're playing. And I know this is super weird coming from someone who is incredibly introverted, but it is absolutely true. As long as the conversations I can have with you are on my time, as it were, like, I'm not standing in front of someone listening to like 18 people speak at the same time and feeling so drained having to do that. I think this is absolutely worth it, and I love doing this sort of thing. And I'm mentioning all of this because, and I don't want to really draw too much attention, like, this isn't a negative thing at all. I love getting feedback of this sort, but Kasuna Cassandra pointed out that these videos feel a little, not unnatural, but a little off. And I, too, would prefer if I could do this more naturally as we play, and we will be able to do so going forward. I won't need these dedicated segments, like about another 1 or 2 videos into this series, because once our clerics create food, the time limit is gone. At which point then, like after a difficult combat, I can stand and talk with you guys. As I'm walking from place to place, I can stop running through the dungeon for fear of starving to death, and we can talk about some cool Dungeons & Dragons history that I've got and so on. But at the moment, I need these segments, because I'm not going to get a chance to do so actively in the game. All of my concentration is being spent towards keeping us alive and moving us forward as fast as possible so that we can get our clerics leveled, so that we have create food, which removes the time limit. Yep. So very soon, it will feel a lot more natural. Okay, so I hope that made sense. And now, with all that said, it's time to do some of the dialogue segmenting part of this video. So from now on, everything else here is just bullet points on my papers. Let's go ahead and start. So, as you guys can see, I am trying to find video games that would fit the party-based dungeon crawling theme. And Methadron mentioned a game called Dungeon Hack. This was a game I've played before. I actually own it on GOG, and I played it when it first came out many years ago, sometime in, like, I think the 1990s. And it is absolutely... Sorry, kind of loud there. It's absolutely not going to fit the bill. So first off, the game is single player only. We only get to make one character. And while we could make a series of different characters based on viewers to go through a dungeon and see if they make it, there's so many issues with Dungeon Hack, having played it very frequently many years ago. So first off, it's 2nd edition, Dungeons & Dragons, and it's single character only. And this immediately means you're going to have lots of balance problems with the game. Anything that doesn't have a mage class in it doesn't get access to improved identify. And that means, because if I recall correctly, there's no way to identify your items otherwise unless you get super lucky with like a wand of identification. You're not going to know what anything does. So you're guessing at what stuff does. There's cursed items in the game, so if you have something in your main hand and you swing it and you miss a lot and you try to take it off your main hand, you're not. you're not doing it. It's cursed. You're not taking it off, and this means that like a pure fighter class is awful. Healing in the game is extremely limited because once again you're forced to rely on a cleric's cure light wound spells if you want to heal, and that means a D8 is rolled. It's awful. All of the absolute worst balancing in 2nd edition Dungeons & Dragons is brought to the forefront. There's no role-playing in the game. It's literally you running through a procedurally generated dungeon. There's only 2 monster types per dungeon level. It feels so fake when you're playing the game. Many of the creatures have paralyzation, poison, they devour your items, they level drain you. This is all extremely nightmarish, and you have to save scum a ton when playing the game. You have to play the game perfectly as well. You can't let yourself get hit if you have undead present in your dungeon, because you could be diseased. You could be killed outright by some creatures. If you have like a cockatrices on the level, guess what? It's not like there's one cockatrice you have to worry about on the dungeon floor. There's like 60. And there's groups of them. It's just awful. It's purely combat. There's no reason not to max all your stats. There's no reason never to play a half-elf dual class with mage as one of those classes as well. It's terrible. It's a terrible game. This comes from someone who bought it on GOG and who played it and bought it in real life on a CD, or it was a CD at the time, many years ago. Can't recommend it that we play it. You guys wouldn't like it. It would be another game that I would hate play. So if you would like that sort of thing, I can probably play through it once to show you how awful the game is. And what's funny is that I guarantee the game's got like great reviews on GOG or Steam. If it even is up here on Steam, I have it through GOG. And I don't know why these old Dungeons & Dragons games have such great reviews. They're terrible. They're honestly like some of the worst role-playing games you could ever play. And I can't recommend it at all. Planescape Torment is like the exception rather than the rule in this regard. Most of the Dungeons & Dragons games I've played have just been absolute garbage. And Dungeon Hack is no exception to that. We'll take a small deviation from 2nd edition garbage, because I'm going to talk about Pool of Radiance in a bit. But we're going to talk about the spider level that we just went through in the previous video and this one, since you guys were talking about it a bit in the comments. So, the limited cure poisons we currently have access to certainly up the ante for those levels. The suspense is super high because you can't let yourself get hit. Spiders are some of the fastest creatures in the Eye of the Beholder game, and I mean both in terms of movement and attack speed. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but when a creature attacks us, we are locked in the current position we are in. Like, we can't move away. The creature gets to finish its attack animation as it rolls to attack us. So we have to be exceedingly careful with when we are attacking the creature, which also is, I hope, a great way to explain why I'm relying on throwing items to deal with the spiders, because we can't risk it turning around and then attacking us, even though our melee will do more damage. It's far safer for all of our characters to windmill their arms and hurl everything that can be thrown at the spiders at them in an attempt to kill them. This also does, as I think Bruno had mentioned, it does encourage save scumming, though, because if we get 3 of our characters poisoned right now, that means one of them's dying, because we've only got 2 cure poison potions left. I don't even think there's any more left in the game. There might be a cure poison scroll, a clear poison scroll waiting for us up ahead, but I can't remember. And this also means that when we go back up through these levels later, which we're going to do, once I get create food, we're going to head back up and see if I missed anything. I'm pretty sure we missed a fireball spell somewhere on level 4 or level 3, so we're going to be backing up to check that. But in any case, oh crap, see, this is where Tim gets absent-minded. I can't remember what the point I was trying to make. This means that going back up through the spider levels is very dangerous, because the spiders respawn in these levels, and if we get hit, we'll have to reload the game. And I would like to avoid save scumming, aside from hit point farming, so it'll make it a lot more exciting. I don't think we missed anything in the spider maze, just a heads up. I actually don't think we missed anything at level 4. I think it's level 3 we missed something. So we will be doubling back up to level 3 at some point. Now, back to hate playing games. Pool of Radiance. So I've talked about this briefly, and just in case I didn't mention it, I do have a semi-let's play of the game. Actually, is that right? No, it is a let's play of the game on my channel, but I didn't finish the game. My friend Christian and I were playing the game together, so you'll get to hear him play the game right along with me. I think we were using headsets at the time, though, not a microphone, so the audio quality is not the best for us. But that said, you can see what the game is like, and you will hear me curse and swear, and Chris as well is shocked at how awful the game is. And now I'm going to tell you everything I hated about it. Combat was generally really long and generally extremely boring. We'll fight like 40 goblins with my 6 characters, and the sound effects are awful. The graphics are terrible. The rolls are just awful as well. And it's not because necessarily the game's rolls are bad. It's just that 2nd edition combat against 40 goblins when you're level 2 is just an awful thing to design. What was the Dungeon Master thinking doing that, other than he really wants to kill the characters? It's just terrible. When it comes to AoE spells, there's no way to tell if something is going to be in the AoE or not, depending upon the spell you're casting, and some spells have really awkward AoE placements. Sinking Cloud, in particular, is terrible with where the center of the AoE is. You're better off casting it when your characters are in a certain position, I think in particular above and to the right of the targets, given how the AoE is placed, because you can't determine where the AoE is placed. The game decides for you. Resting often brought random encounters, and these were awful too, because they could interrupt your characters trying to rest and recover spells, and you can't rest anywhere you like without having them. Poison in this game always killed you. Paralyzation often killed you. There was level drain, which is one of the worst mechanics ever introduced in a role-playing game ever. There was extraordinary very little role-playing. There were level limits for anything that wasn't a human. The maps were awful. The way you transitioned them was terrible. There was nothing to spend money on. You would end up with hundreds of thousands of gold if you wanted it. And you couldn't buy, what would you buy? Arrows? Plate mail? There was nothing magical you could purchase. The later games in the series offered more story and something to at least spend your money on. And the writing was a little bit better, but all of the 2 games I played, Curse of the Azure Bonds and Pool of Radiance, were terrible. Simple stories, really one-dimensional characters, awful writing. On a scale of 1 to 40, for Pool of Radiance at the very least, I would give it a 5. Like, it's that bad. It's considered a classic for some reason, probably because it was amongst the first Dungeons & Dragons games, but it's a truly abysmal experience playing through it. Legacy of the Ancients, a game made years before for the Commodore 64, is better in every imaginable way. And the Quest for Glory series was also phenomenally better than the Pool of Radiance game. The only thing Pool of Radiance had going for it was the setting, was Dungeons & Dragons, I think Forgotten Realms. Actually, it may have been Greyhawk for that one. And it was party-based. One of the few first early party-based games.
There's no spell powerful enough to clean up this mess.
I hate the one-liners. It's so cheesy. But Tiltacore is going to go ahead and say his one-liners, no matter what he decides. That said, if I can't find enough dungeon crawling games to play where I can get everyone, all the viewers involved in it, we'll play Pool of Radiance together. And yes, Bruno, I will have I guess we'll call it the hate jar. The hate jar of curses. Because I want to be cursing and swearing in that game a lot. A whole lot. On that note, I am going to try to feature more games of either the Beholder or Starcrawler's ilk on my channel. I think it was you, Hame16, who was pointing out that there's a few other types of games we could play to get viewers involved in them. Things like the XCOM series. And I've played games like that on my channel, right? We've played through Xenonauts together, which is similar to the first XCOM games. And we played last year through Fel Zero Arbiter's Mark. And I think it was a total of like 9 subscribers or viewers asked to be party members in that game. And so there's a few other games of this sort that I want to play going forward. I've mentioned Ogre Battle 64, and I think you guys will like that one. It was made, I think, around the year 2000 or so. It's a party-based game. The game plays, it's an auto-battler, is the way I would describe it. And I liked the gameplay. I'll have to make a few house rules to make it tougher for us. But that game will support something like 30 people easily in the game, depending upon how many combat divisions we are interested in having. And so that will be one I plan to play. Once Xenonauts 2 is out, I plan to play through that one. I have attempted in the past to record Open XCOM, but in the end I decided that, I don't want to start another one of these long Xenonaut-like games at the time. But I do intend to play through it in the future at some point. But it may be a few years before we get to it. We can play some of the older XCOM games, is what I'll say now, because I think it's been a few years since the new ones came out, right? Remember what? So there were the new XCOM games. It's weird to call them old. That where you had the graphics were significantly better. Your characters had an action and a movement, or could move twice, if I recall correctly. So, and I thought about recording those ones too. I think I actually began recording the first video where I was also going to ask people who wanted to be a part of it, but I decided not to keep it. I was having audio issues at the time with the game. Alright, so I think that's enough about non-Dungeons & Dragons stuff. So let's talk about a small thing I saw being discussed in the comments section, which was different die rolling mechanics. Pippo Z Pulp mentioned how he and his, I guess, gameplay groups, or at least one of them he was in, used 45s instead of d20s for the rolls to be done, where 6s counted as zeros when they were rolled. This meant an average of 7 through 13s when the dice were being rolled. That's a very interesting way to play the games, and I think I like it, but it would require rebalancing of some creatures or certain effects based around that, and it would encourage more uses of like a +1 or +2 bonuses, like Bless or Weapon Specialization from the, I guess, generally unedited 2nd edition rule set. Because you have now average rolls a lot more often, right? You roll a d20, and you can get any one of those numbers showing up. But you roll a bunch of d6s, and you are more likely to see certain outcomes occur after you total all the dice up, 7 through 13, as I mentioned before. So anything you could do to get those numbers a little higher becomes a lot more important, I feel, if you're going with that. Like a +1 magic weapon, if that puts you towards an 8 through 14 on average, that's phenomenal. As opposed to just a +1, but you still roll 3s or 5s because your dice, that 1d20 hates you to death. On that note, have you guys ever rolled, like, you bring your 20-sided dice, and after you roll it like 50, 60 times, you begin to realize that that dice seems to favor certain numbers more than others. I had a black dice which would roll either 20s or 3s. It seemed to consistently roll these two numbers more often than any others. And I had other dice that would always roll extraordinarily low, like 2s and 5s. I remember getting really upset once and taking a hammer, one of those dice, and smashing it back when I was a teenager, because I was rolling at the time in front of my brothers, and they wanted to see what I rolled. Now, as a dungeon master, you should never give in to your players desiring that. You're the storyteller, you're the game master, you're putting it together for them. I suppose I should take a small break here and from what I have outlined and talk briefly about how I dungeon master. When I'm the dungeon master for a game, I really want the story to be the most important aspect of it. And I want my characters, my players, to feel like they have a big part in this story. Furthermore, I want my characters to feel that the game is very open-ended. My brothers, who are currently playing in the campaign, have been shocked to learn that they don't have to go a certain direction, and they don't have to say yes to any of the adventure hooks I put into it. In the current adventure we're playing, the city suffered a catastrophic fire. And I know my brother Dave has shown up once or twice to this game series here I'm uploading to YouTube, and listened to me talk, so I can't really say more than that, because he might hear about how this is going to conclude, and I don't want him knowing in advance. But I gave them the option to leave the city if they didn't want to partake in its recovery, and I had the whole outline done. It's like, okay, if they want to leave, like, they won't be able to leave for like a week, but then because of how hot it is, and it's just there's not going to be enough food or water for them to get to the next town. But once the weather breaks, they'll be able to leave, and then I just go and make another adventure for them without any issue. I already had 2 lined up in case they decide not to stick around, but they decided to stick around anyway because they thought that this was the adventure I had planned for them. I really want my players to feel a lot of freedom with the choices that they have, both in how they play their characters and the solutions they have to certain problems, and even with the decision as to which direction they go in. The next time I turn on my camera, I will try to show you an example of how I plan my adventures, because I have a flow chart which shows, like, okay, if they do this, like in this case, they decide to stay with, it's called A Hot Day in Lotaeri, is the adventure title. And after that, they'll have a choice of different adventures to go on. But they don't necessarily have to choose any of those if they don't want to. They could tell me, Tim, we want to do something else completely different than one of these. And if that's the case, what I would do in that instance is set the campaign down, let them know that, okay, well, I planned on you having one of these, but if you don't want to do any of these, that's fine. Tell me what you want to do, and I will do my best to wing something temporarily until I can come up with more of a guideline for me, role-playing you through the adventure that you would like to do, and so on. And I'm really happy when my players see how open-ended the world is. My friend Chris could talk about how I had a whole adventure set up in this one swamp, and I had this little crumpled map that I gave them, which left breadcrumbs to this location. And the moment they began adventuring in the swamp, though, my players got distracted by this one note which pointed to a potential ruin off the map. and they wanted to explore it. I didn't have that created at all, but I wanted my players to be able to go wherever they wanted to go. And so I had to recall from my memory a adventure that had existed in a dungeon magazine called The Ruins of Lotaeri. And it turns out that's in, by the way, Dungeon Magazine 13. If you want to go ahead and look that up, I think there's a PDF for it up online. But I was able to mostly remember how the ruin was set up, but I couldn't remember very much about anything else about it. But I was able to wing the whole adventure for them, and after they explored that ruin, they then went back to the town, and they never explored anything else in the swamp. And I had designed, like, 3 different cave systems, a bunch of random encounters they would have, and so on in the swamp, and they never saw any of it. Because another thing I think is important is that even though I design a huge amount to go with a current campaign, I don't feel it's... And my players have told me that they wouldn't care if I did it this way, but I don't like the idea that if they don't go that way, I still work those encounters into their current adventure. I don't like doing that. I would much prefer them being unique to that encounter that they didn't take, than trying to worm them into a different one. Am I making any sense with what I'm saying there?
Who wants to see a magic show?
If there was a cave that they wanted to, that I had set for them to encounter, if they went to the right and they went to the left instead, then I feel like they shouldn't see that cave. Maybe they'll go back to it in the future and I'll have it there then. But otherwise, no. We drop that and there's something else that they see. In this way, my players are also a bit... Once I've shown them that I've done this once or twice, they become really impressed with the amount of work I put into things, and they also realize that they're giving up things for other things, so their choices matter, which I think is really super important. I really want all the decisions that my players do to feel like there was some weight behind them. And now that I'm looking at the time, I realize we've been talking for 35 minutes, everyone. I didn't really get to talk too much more about my Dungeons & Dragons stuff. So I will attempt to do that in the next video instead. And Adorkable, I have not forgotten your comment on the 3rd part. I will attempt to talk about that in the next video as well. But I'm just about out of time for this particular video in the background.
I never caught your name.
It's Skeleton. It's Skeleton number 8, Joska. This is why random one-liners also don't work for a game like this. Or maybe they do, because it's so out of place. In any case, I think we'll stop here. Thank you guys for listening to me rattle on for a bit about this. Hopefully it was entertaining to listen to. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care, guys, and thanks for watching.